All right, this booklet of worksheets is going to help us get introduced to the idea of using a coordinate grid. So today we are working with actually just one quarter or one quadrant of a full coordinate grid where we're only using positive numbers. So no negative values. We'll get into negative values maybe as soon as tomorrow. So there's 4 different pages and we're going to work through a couple questions in each one so you have an idea of how to do the assignment. So before we do that, there's something really important to notice here. We have 2 axes. We have an x-axis that goes side to side horizontally and a y-axis that goes up and down vertically. So I'm just going to use my scribble tool and I'm going to name them by drawing an x here and a y here. And this is how you often see them labeled. Oh my goodness, my y looks like an x. Let's undo that and let's make it better. There. And when you sing the ABC song, you get to the end, you go X, Y, Z. That's a big clue. X comes before Y. So whenever we're looking at coordinates on a grid, we always want to call out the X coordinate first and then the Y coordinate. So our X coordinates, we have 0 all the way to 9, and our Y coordinates, again, 0 all the way to 9. So let's start with coordinate A because that'll be the first one the question asks us for. So proper form for writing coordinates is you're going to use brackets. So a bracket, you're going to write the X coordinate, and then you're going to do a comma, and then you're going to write the Y coordinate. So you're going to go bracket, X coordinate, comma, Y coordinate, and then bracket. That's proper form. And just remember, we're always going to go over and then up. So that's my other little memory trick, is just the phrase over, then up. And I'll say that kind of over and over again. So let's go back here and let's take a peek at our point A. So we've got to find point A. Here it is sitting here. And we're going to just move this out of the way so we can see the numbers. I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can see A is on line 7. So my X value is going to be a 7. I just typed in 7 and then comma. And how many lines up do I go? Well, from the 0 line, I'm going to count up 1. So I go up 1 and I double check over here on the y-axis, and that's it. Okay. Super easy, super straightforward. I hope. A bracket, 7, because we went over 7 and then we went up 1. That's how you do it. Let's do B. B is interesting because B, when I start, I'm supposed to go over and then up, right? Well, B is sitting on my 0 line. So I actually go over 0 steps. So sometimes people get really confused when there's a 0. If we just follow over and then up, we're still going to get to the same answer. So I went over 0. So it's on my 0. Then I went up to the 1. So it is 0, 1 on the XY coordinate grid. All right, I'm going to scroll down to the next page. All right, I'm going to ask you to do one of 2 things today. Either write down the plot or the coordinate that something is, or I'm going to ask you to put a coordinate on the coordinate grid. So this is the reverse. Point A needs to be at coordinate 7, 5. So I'm going to go over 7, and then I'm going to go up 5. So this is the intersection of 7 on the x-axis and y on the 5-axis. I'm going to use my scribble tool, and I'm going to put a dot here as best as I can. Oh my goodness, I don't know what happened, but that's not what I wanted to happen. 7, 5. Just going to put a big blobby dot there. And then beside my dot, I'm going to write the coordinate A, because that's what it told me to label the coordinate as. Okay, so I labeled it A. If I go do B, B is at 3, 9. Remember, I'm always going over first and then up. Those are beautiful arrows, aren't they? I'm going to go over 3, and then I go all the way up to 9, and I'm going to put a dot. And that's coordinate B. And that's how you're going to work your way through this page. Okay? More practice on the next page. All right? We've got coordinates that are letters, and you're going to tell me which letter is at each coordinate. So what's that? Coordinate 3, 1. Well, if I go over 3 and up 1, I see the letter F. F is at 3, 1. What's at coordinate 7, 8? If I go over 7 and I go up 8, I get to H. All right. Nailed it. Okay. Using the same grid, write the ordered pair for each given point. So I got to find A, and now I have to write the ordered pair. I'm going to go over 8 until I see the line that A is at on the over. So it's 8, and then I go up 7. So I'm going to do a bracket. I'm going to write 8. I'm going to do a comma, 7, and then a bracket. And that's how it should look. Now it wants me to plot the following points on the coordinate grid. So it wants me to use the same grid. And at 2, 8, put a B. So I'm going to go over 2, up 8, and I'm going to add some letters to the grid. Beautiful. And then there's 2 questions that tell you to start somewhere, follow some directions, and then write down what point you land on. Last page, another coordinate grid with icons on it. You need to either tell me the coordinate of the icon, or you need to go to the coordinate, it tells you, and write the icon. So I'll do 2 of these for you. Helicopter. Find the picture of the helicopter. There it is. And tell me the coordinate. So I'm going to go over first, right? Over, and then up. So I'm going to go over to 6, up to 2. So we've got a bracket. We've got a 6, a comma. We've got a 2, and a bracket. All right. And let's do one of these. If I go to 3, 4, what icon is there? So I go over 3, up to 4. That looks like a park bench. So I'm going to use my text box and type in bench. Voila. This is your work for today. If you finish early, you can head over to Knowledge Hook or Splash Learn, and I'll put some questions like this on there.